Hey everybody, you're listening to Stonewall Jackson. Stonewall Jackson here, everybody. Thank y'all for listening to this evening's show and everything. More from where this came from, everybody. Now it's time for me to read this article and everything. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel and everything, and if you like it, share it and tell your friends about it and everything. And also make sure you stay tuned to Infowars.com and TheDrudgeReport.com, where you can stay up to date with news that is actually true. Before mysterious death, Andrew Breitbart targeted Podesta in tweet. A haunting tweet from the late journalist Andrew Breitbart has re-emerged, which has renewed interest in his mysterious death amid ongoing speculation spurred by the leaked emails of DC insider John Podesta. How Pragura John Podesta isn't household name as world-class underage sex slave op, cover-up upper defending unspeakable dregs escapes me. Breitbart died mysterious in the early hours of March 1, 2012, just hours before his planned release of footage of Barack Obama that he assured would heavily damage the sitting president's chances of re-election. Days before, he had declared, "Wait till they see what happens March 1st." Weeks later, Breitbart's coroner, Michael Cormier, passed away, also in a suspicious and sudden fashion. The 61-year-old Cormier was discovered dead on April 20th, the same day the city officials had released their preliminary autopsy report on the death of the conservative media powerhouse Andrew Breitbart. Infowars reported at the time, according to early reports, Michael Cormier was seemingly healthy, yet suddenly stricken with a fatal condition, just like Andrew Breitbart. Earlier this month, Breitbart News released a short clip from the documentary Hating Breitbart, which showcased Andrew's exceptional contempt for Podesta and offered clues that he knew things about the shadow controller of Obama and Hillary Clinton that were not yet public knowledge. Were not yet public knowledge. What's in your closet, John Podesta? Do you want us to play these games? Because we are playing to win. Internet sleuths and investigative reporters continue to tirelessly dig through the WikiLeaks Podesta emails, believing they may shed light on new controversies. That's the end of that article. I thank y'all for listening to my radio show and everything. To be more from where this came from. Y'all are listening to Stonewall Jackson and everything. Pardoning the criminal Turkey, an American precedent. As we sit back and enjoy the company of family this 2016 Thanksgiving Day, is it too much to ask to remember those that have sacrificed to protect your basic rights? Lower stroke risk tied to moderate alcohol consumption. If you're looking to decrease your risk of a stroke, having a drink or two each day may be part of the solution. A new study has found that drinking small quantities of alcohol may keep your cardiovascular system healthier and lower your risk of deadly attack. The study was in actuality a scientific review of several studies which examined the link between alcoholic intake and stroke risk. The results, which were published in BMC Medicine, concluded that drinking 1 to 2 alcoholic beverages per day decreased the risk of stroke by up to 8%. Doctors, however, warn that this does doesn't mean that non-drinkers should take up alcohol in order to curb their risk. Instead, they should mitigate it with measures such as exercise, keeping blood pressure low, and a healthy diet. On the flip side, drinking more than 4 drinks per day can dramatically increase stroke risk. So it is important that those who do consume alcohol are vigilant. In fact, drinking in excess can increase the risk of stroke by as much as 14%. The study concluded light and moderate alcohol consumption was inversely associated only with um, ischemic stroke, whereas heavy drinking was associated with increased risk of all stroke types, with a stronger association with hemorrhagic strokes. In addition to consuming a small amount of alcohol each day, there are several things you can do to help lower your risk of a stroke or other cardiovascular event. Exercising several times a day, both to keep your weight down and for overall health, is an important step in staving off a stroke or heart attack. It is also recommended that those who have diabetes get it treated and keep it under control, as the disease itself can be a major risk factor for a stroke. Finally, doctors across the board recommend that you stop smoking if you do so regularly. Smoking can up your risk of a stroke significantly, especially if you are already in poor health or also have diabetes. Once again, I want to thank y'all for listening to my radio programs and everything. Um, I talk about a variety of stuff and everything. I usually um, read Infowars.com and the Drudge Report. But also, sometimes I like to play music too and everything. If y'all have any ideas for future shows, just let me know. See if I can find y'all this article here on thetruchreport.com. Just a moment, people. Ohio State reports active shooter on Columbus campus. Columbus, Ohio, an active shooter was being investigated on the Ohio State campus in Columbus, authorities tweeted. At least 7 people were transported to local hospitals, one in critical condition, according to the Columbus Police Emergency Dispatch Communications. Buckeye Alert, active shooter on campus, run, hide, fight. Watts Hall, 19th and College, the university's emergency management agency tweeted. Later, the agency tweeted a warning to continue to shelter in place in North Campus area. Follow directions of police on scene. A similar message appears atop the school's website, Buckeye Alert. Continue to shelter in place. Avoid area of college. More information to follow. The school's website lists Watts Hall as the Materials Science and Engineering building. Ohio's thoughts and prayers go out to the Ohio State Community Government. Governor John Kasich tweeted, "Be safe, listen to first responders." Tweeted Rep. Tim Ryan, Democrat, Ohio. "Everyone stay safe, monitoring this situation closely. Thoughts and prayers with everyone on campus." Ohio State's 1,764-acre campus is located about 2.5 miles north of Columbus. The school, founded in 1870, is the third largest campus in the U.S., with about 45,000 undergraduates and 13,000 postgraduates. One suspect dead. 10 in hospital after Ohio State car knife attack. 10 people were taken to hospitals, and one suspect was dead after a chaotic car and knife accident at Ohio State University on Monday morning, as officials said. The incident was initially reported as an active shooter situation, but the suspect did not shoot anyone. Instead, he crashed their car into a crowd and attacked victims with a knife. Witnesses and law enforcement officials told NBC News. A police officer was on the scene within a minute and shot the suspect dead. A campus lockdown was lifted about 11:30 a.m., with the university reporting that the scene is now secure. Witnesses described a chaotic scene as the attack unfolded just before 10 a.m. This car just swerved and ran into the whole group of people, said Nicole Cranebrook, who was walking down the street when she saw the car hit people who had evacuated an academic building during a fire alarm. All these people were running and screaming and yelling, she said. Jacob Bowers, an OSU sophomore, was sitting on a bench about 100 feet away when he noticed people running. Then I heard someone yell, "He's got a knife!" And I saw a guy with a big knife just chasing people around. When I saw that, I grabbed all my stuff and started running, Bowers said. Bowers said he looked back to see a police officer on the scene. The officer yelled to the suspect, "Drop it and get down or I'll shoot," and then fired on the suspect, Bowers said. Another student told NBC News he heard gunfire from his dorm room. "I heard gunshots from my dorm, probably 6 or 7, said Stephen Yunker, 18, a freshman who lives 2 blocks from Watts Hall, where the incident occurred. He said he and his roommate looked at each other, heard sirens about 5 seconds later, and then looked out the window. We saw fire trucks, a couple of cars, and a body laying on the ground," he said. The Columbus Fire Department said it transported 10 people to hospitals. 9 were in stable condition and 1 was in critical condition. The campus, where 60,000 students are enrolled, was put on lockdown for 90 minutes after the university first reported an active shooter. "Run, hide, fight," the university's emergency management office tweeted. "Continue to shelter in place." Students reported hunkering down in classrooms with shades down. Lisa Goldstein, 26, was in her Geographical Information Systems class in Stillman's Hall when a text alert hit everyone's phones. The students blocked the door with their book bags and monitored social media and live streams for updates. "It's a little overwhelming and scary. It's not something you think would happen on our campus," she told NBC News. "Very concerned about the people who were hurt because we don't know what happened yet." Heavily armed police, ambulances, and SWAT vehicles could be seen on the Columbus campus. The FBI, Ohio State Police, and Columbus Police were assisting university police. Ohio Governor John Kasich tweeted that the state's thoughts and prayers go out to the Ohio State community. Be safe, listen to first responders. Thank y'all for listening to my radio program. If y'all like it, give me a thumbs up or click that heart on there to like my page and everything. Make sure you subscribe and share my shows. I thank y'all and God bless y'all. This is Stonewall Jackson signing off.